We are back on MorningLine. Nick Barris here live on a Monday, and we're kind of covering the very latest on the deadly flood there. We've got Sky 5 aerials exclusive. We're the only station with a helicopter that was able to go up and over and show you some of the devastation the day after, and it is still stunning out there. The search goes on for survivors or those victims swept away. Some 20, perhaps less than that, the sheriff says now, down from more than 40 a day ago, are still unaccounted for. 22 fatalities is the count right now, along with several children in that, and it's just heartbreaking. Let's go next to Candy. Candy, good morning. Hi, Candy. Are you there, Candy?
No, this is not Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Candy's on line two. This is Eric. Eric, you're on one.
Yes.
Got him flip-flops.
How you doing, Nick?
Hey, Eric. Go ahead.
Hey, Nick, I was calling to primarily talk about the floods, but you were talking with Joe just about, and I just wanted to do this real quick. Yeah, because I had a friend of mine whose wife lost her uncle over the weekend due to COVID. He was 61, 62 years old, refused to get the vaccine, got it, and just went quick. So,
yeah.
But about the floods, Nick, this is something I hate to bring up, but it's just something that people have to be aware of course, and that's usually when you have a tragedy like this, you have the two twin kids that died. You have to watch out for the scammers, because there's probably scammers out there that are watching this. They're going to try and use this to their advantage. Just, hey, all this tragedy because people's hearts are just sad and everything like that, and they're going to want to try and take advantage of this situation. It's something I hate to bring up, but that it's going to be out there, and people just need to watch out and be careful about this type of thing, because you want to go to some legitimate where you can give your money to help out in a tragic situation like that. So I'm just calling that heads up, because we don't like to think about that, but sooner or later, even though I haven't heard stories yet, but there's somebody that's going to definitely try and take advantage of this situation. So I just thought I'd just call to share that information. Take care, Nick, and have a good day.
Thank you for doing that. That's going to be a story we follow up on. That hasn't happened yet. There was one case that I think was a misunderstanding, involved some alleged looting or theft from a service station yesterday. Law enforcement responded. They saw some people going in, taking some items, made some arrests on the scene. But that turned out, at least my understanding, talking to the store owner, the service station owner, that he gave these folks permission to go in and do so. His store was damaged. Those items were going to go to waste anyway. If people there helping and working in the area needed it, they were welcome to it. That likely will be, I think, addressed later. As far as the rebuilding, that's what's going to happen. You are going to have shysters coming through town trying to offer to do this and do this for money up front. And hopefully the word will get out. Only registered, licensed builders and folks who are legitimate will be in. And if you have a loved one or someone that's dealing with that in that situation, make sure that they don't, when they come to you and are knocking on your door, you got to be wary, okay? What you need to do is seek them out yourself. Seek to hire someone to rebuild or to help remove brush or things like this, and do not pay up front, because they'll start after you pay them and they'll disappear. There are people that will do that, and Eric's absolutely right. It happens every time there's a disaster like this. And by the way, with regard to looting, there is no confirmed case of any looting there at this point, but there is an 8 o'clock curfew, and one of the reasons for that is they don't want people driving around after dark anyway. It's still dangerous, but the other is after dark is when these things happen. Law enforcement will be on patrol. Anyone out after 8 o'clock after dark will be stopped and questioned, because anyone out after 8 o'clock most likely is up to no good. But that hasn't happened there yet, and I hope it doesn't. Let's go next to, finally now, Candy. Candy, good morning. Hi, Candy.
Hi, Nick. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I just want to say, before I have two things to say, and then at the end, I just want to say to the families of that flood that I hope they find peace, and each one of them just hug one another, because it's going to get okay. And also, I want to say about the mask. I mean, we hear so much, you really don't know what to think. But me, as a family member, had a kid, 4 years old, had family that went through this, okay? But not as harsh as some are now, okay?
Sure.
So if people would just mask up for the safety of others. And I wanted to leave this little verse with you.
Okay.
History will write the story. America will always stand. Have a good morning.
Thank you, Candy. You're a ray of sunshine, and I appreciate you calling. Well, and I agree with Candy. She's a good woman, and she's right. And it made me think, there's going to be at some point an army of relief workers, volunteers, and others. It's very hot out there. You're outdoors, because the question of wearing masks and safety, and if you're vaccinated or not, I want everyone out there to be safe, but certainly wearing a mask in this heat will be problematic for some. But if you're going to go out there or you feel you're at risk, but you want to help, wear that mask. Make sure you're vaccinated. Keep your distance. It is, of course, much safer to be outside than inside, but if you're working side by side in close quarters in that situation, that can be a concern. You've got to keep that in mind moving forward. But right now, that more people will be going into that area in the days to come. But again, the sheriff is saying he does not want a bunch of volunteers yet going there. I think his public information officer will send out more information today on what's planned. He did say those who want to make donations can drop them off at the armory there near the high school in Waverly, all right? So they're taking donations, everything from bottled water to clothing, foodstuffs. It was interesting. I'm looking, by the way, at some of the posts that I put out yesterday with some of the key things, okay, for people to take note of if you're hungry and you're in that area. Candace Melissa Brown has helped organize the Waverly Burger King, Waverly Cafe, Waverly United Methodist Church and Baptist Church has teamed up to feed the community. They're set up there at the Dollar Tree parking lot in Waverly. They were there yesterday feeding. They were there this morning serving breakfast, and they're going to be there as long as they're needed. Anyone who's hungry, if you're displaced, if you're working, if you're a first responder, you go by there and you can get food to eat, and they're cooking it up, and it's good stuff. And again, people helping people. A couple other things. We know that Interstate 40 is now back open. You can also take Highway 13 all the way into Waverly. A lot of that was closed. Cell phone system, towers, back up and running for the most part. We had a cell phone call just a moment ago from the sheriff there in Waverly. It came through. It did with Lelan as well. Again, the drop-off point, important to take note of all of that. Couple other things in the flood zone I just want to share with you about the names again of the people missing. It's now under 20, they say. But here's the phone number. Okay, it's 931-582-6950. I'll give that out to you again, all right, later in the show. But this is McEwen High School, okay? McEwen High School on Melrose Avenue there, the gymnasium, okay? It's open from 7 to 5 p.m. And what they're looking for is the public to reach out to them if you've physically seen or talked to a person that is listed on that sheet of the missing. And that is posted on my Facebook page, on the News Channel 5 Facebook page. You can go there. The important thing, and the sheriff said this is priority one now, is trying to check those names off the list. Hopefully these folks accounted for and alive somewhere. If not, they know they have to get out there and start looking for these people. You also know in Humphreys County, school canceled all week. We know that the elementary school there suffered such severe damage. They had 4 feet of water through the school property. I saw some video of the playground out back, the jungle gyms and everything, all torn to bits and nothing much left there. And again, one story that came out and just breaks my heart, that's the essence of the dead in this are the children. And Lucy Connors was the picture of her. You saw her, this sweet little child, swept away from that complex where a bunch of them were. Her remains were found yesterday. When I say a bunch, there was an autistic 16-year-old who saw the floodwaters coming in, tried to climb to the roof of the complex, got him. And then, of course, the very tragic story of the ranch hand for Loretta Lynn's ranch there at Hurricane Mills, which did suffer some damage. The foreman, Wayne Spears, you can tell based on the post at Nick Barris NC5, just loved by everyone who knew him. Loretta Lynn herself is just grief-stricken. She is okay, but her property was damaged, but he was caught in the storm, tried to hold on and got washed away, and his body was later found. Just awful. There's the picture of him. The foreman died in the flooding. That's an adult man, he older but hardy fella. You know, Michael Phelps in these floodwaters would not survive. It's not a matter of can you swim or can you not. Even if you can, you've got incredible current going through there, and in that water is debris. Even if somehow you're able to hold on, once you get swept away, I mean, And if you can keep your head above water, you're going to hit. Something big is going to hit you. We hope to have more information on the family and how that happened with the 2 7-month-old twins that were rushed, that were swept away in the same area that the other children were. And that story, when it broke this weekend, just broke my heart. They were in there, as you heard the sheriff saying, just in an apartment off that creek when 4 feet of water in the flash flood just burst in. The mother was swept away instantly. There were 4 children in there with the father. The father grabbed 2 of them here, and the 2 infants, I guess babies, 7 months old here. The water was so strong that they broke free from his grasp. As soon as they hit the water, the infants went under, never seen again. Their remains found later in the day. Just heartbreaking. Just you can't imagine. And the father at that instant wants to go after them, but he has 2 other children, older children, that were under his arm. The mother, clinging to life after she was swept away, she has told me how, while she was holding on, 2 SUVs went floating by, and one of them actually bumped into her, almost knocking her from the branch. She suffered some bumps and bruises in the whole thing, but amazingly survived. But again, made it to safety, only to learn that her infant 7-month-olds, twins, died in that flood. And we know there's more out there still waiting to be found. That 16-year-old who was pulled from the roof, his remains have not been found. You hope somehow, some way, maybe he's alive somewhere, but they have not made it out to him. And so the search effort does continue. We, of course, here at News Channel 5 will continue with our coverage. We will be back over in Sky 5. We'll have reporters out there. We'll try to get the information to you as quickly as possible throughout it all. When we come back, I'll also tell you about one way you can give. The experts say at this point, yes, you can donate items, clothing, water, and things like this to those who have been displaced. That can come later, but the easiest and best way right now is to donate through a legitimate source, and that would be the Community Foundation, cash or money donations, which they can then send out to the relief groups that are out there that they know it was spent property to buy exactly what it is they need. And so that's one way to do this. If you don't have, leftover items, you can't get out to buy bottled water, send money through the Community Foundation with News Channel 5. I'll tell you about how you can do that as we wrap things up right after this.